Hey everyone, welcome to Science-Based Fitness Reviews. In this video, I'm gonna review the Keppi Fitness Bench 3000 Max. Hopefully give you guys a better idea if you're considering buying something like this, if it's worth the price tag. Now, this isn't just a regular bench. It has a lot of additional attachments, like the ability to do preacher curls, like leg extensions, hamstring curls, but are they well executed? In this review, we'll dive into that and I'll give you guys my breakdown. Let's first jump into the build. Now, if you've never built a bench before, it's usually pretty simple. There's not many components, although because of all the extra leg rollers and the extra preacher curl component, this is a little bit more challenging. It took me roughly 45 minutes to an hour to put this together, and I did it while I was working out. During the assembly component of this bench, I stopped and I pulled out my phone and double checked the price of this, because overall, this is a much better build quality than I thought I was getting. It's definitely a step above the 1000 series, but the price reflects this. Currently, you can see on screen what the current Amazon price is. So if you're new to my reviews, I break down this into 4 separate categories and give you guys a scoring system so we can better conceptualize how this bench actually stacks up to others. So first off, we're gonna take a look at aesthetics. And overall, this is an aesthetically pleasing bench, especially with all the additional attachments. It looks bulkier, it looks more heavy duty, but there's a couple little things. One, I don't think a bench could ever score a 10 because it's just simply a bench. I'm gonna give this a 7.5. It does a really good job of having all the adjustments labeled for the different seat positions. These adjustment pins look great. And when it comes to these like chrome polished end pieces on the leg rollers, again, they look very nice. One thing that kind of gets me is the stickers on the side of this bench. You can tell they just aren't stuck down super well. I think if I used like a hair dryer, applied some heat, they would stick down and be fine. To me, I don't really care about these stickers on the side. I don't really care if my benches get scratched up or dinged up, or if they're not always aesthetically pleasing. They're more function over the aesthetics. I think that's more important. And a 7.5, I think, is a good score. And I think that segues well into our next category, functionality. And this thing here does good because of all the additional components, like this leg extension you see me using here. And I will say, I was a bit skeptical about if this was going to work well. So I went through a whole workout using this as a leg extension and a hamstring curl. It is not as good as a straight leg extension or hamstring curl machine, but I was still able to get a quality stimulus to the quads. I think for how the leg extension works, I would say it's maybe a 7 out of 10 on how just that component works. For hamstring curls, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's actually a little bit better for the hamstring curl component. The tough thing with these two movements is that the stretched position, we know from research, is so important throughout the range of motion for hypertrophy. For the hamstring curl, the load you're experiencing is in the lengthened position, which is gonna help a lot with hypertrophy. But it's the opposite for the leg extension. When you're at the very bottom, there's the least amount of resistance, and as you come to the top, the resistance increases. Now, not everyone's out there always trying to maximize hypertrophy or muscle growth, but this is something to remember. Now, when it comes to preacher curls, this works. You can use dumbbells off the front of this like you see me doing here, and do a quality preacher curl and get a good stimulus to the biceps. Unfortunately, when it comes to connecting the handle and chain, I could not figure out a good way to go through an appropriate range of motion. So the preacher curl works with dumbbells or maybe an easy bar, but I don't love the built-in aspect. Along with everything we've talked about with functionality, you can also remove all the attachments off the front and just use this as a standard bench. But how does the actual bench function? It functions exactly how you would expect. It works like any other bench. The thing that's nice is having all the different adjustments, 12 different adjustments, multiple seat adjustments. It even has 2 separate decline adjustments, which is really nice. This is one of the most adjustments I've ever seen on a bench. And if that's something you're looking for, I definitely recommend this bench. So when it comes to functionality, I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10, which is a great score. Moving on to quality. When you look at things like the stitching, the fabric, the build quality to this bench, you can tell that they put a lot of thought in creating this. When it comes to budget gym equipment, we always look at just your basic home gym equipment, and then up here you have commercial grade equipment. This definitely teeters in that upper end. When it comes to the fabric, they definitely did a great job on executing good fabric, but it's not quite all the way up to that commercial grade. You can tell this is a solid build, but it's not the thickest steel. Typically, the people that really care are kind of the home gym snobs that like the thicker heavy gauge steel. This thing is rated for 1,200 pounds, and at no point are you gonna have to worry about this bench not being sufficient for you. The only thing that really could happen with a little bit thinner steel like this is you might throw some weights onto this and you might scuff it up a little bit more, maybe get some small dents on this. It is definitely a good build quality. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. And the last thing we look at here is value. And this is a little bit tougher to give a good score because we're no longer looking at some cheaper budget benches. And I do have to point out that there could be a sale. I do have an affiliate link down below in the description. If you do click that, you might be able to see there might be a discount going on. At least check that out and see if there is. And if you purchase through that affiliate link, it helps me out. It doesn't cost you anything more, so then I can make more videos like this. But back to my main point, is this bench worth it? It really comes down to if these extra features on this bench are what you need for your home gym setup. If you wanna build your legs a little bit more and you want a leg extension, you want a hamstring curl, this could be a great option. But overall, I think I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10 for value. And I think that's a pretty fair score. This isn't your super budget-friendly piece of equipment anymore. You're definitely getting to a little bit higher price tag, and there's a lot of options out there. So here we are with our total score all tallied up, and I do think this is a fair score for a quality bench. Like I said, if you guys are interested, there's an affiliate link down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel where I try to make more and more fitness content reviews. If there's anything you want to see reviews for, let me know in the comments, and have a good day. We'll see you in the next one.